welcome at Park Spoken English channel, and thank you so much for joining me in this video. This is the wish of all the teachers that they want to teach in the classroom very effectively, and they want their teaching to happen in such a way that is very interesting for the kids. At the same time, it's very easy for the teachers also. And to make the teaching very easy for the teachers are always trying to make the lesson plans. They're trying to make the lesson plans in such a way that it's easy and comfortable for them to make also, and at the same time to follow also. So today in this video, we are also going to discuss about the lesson plans, and we'll see how we can make our lesson plans easy for the teachers, how we'll see how we can make it easy for follow also and easy to make it. So watch this video until end so that you can understand thoroughly how to make a lesson plan effectively for the effective teaching. Friends, for the effective lesson plans, there are a few components which you really have to consider. For example, the very first thing for your effective lesson plan is to decide your SLOs. SLOs are actually called students' learning outcomes. So outcomes means this is the result, or this is the end result of the overall learning which is taking place in the classroom. So this is a skill, this is a main concept, this is the main content, or this is the main topic you're going to teach to the student. So why SLO is very important for effective learning and effective teaching in the classroom? The reason is that it's the main theme of the lesson you're going to teach, or it's the main idea you're going to discuss with the students. And this is why it's also very important for the teachers to plan their SLOs in a proper way. They should spend a proper time on deciding what should be the effective SLO for the kids. And while you're deciding your SLOs, it's very important to differentiate between objectives and the aims, because sometimes when the teachers are writing down their SLOs, they write down their aims, and aim is something which you can achieve within the same class. So this is why it's very important to you can say write down the SLOs as SLOs which you can achieve within the class. For example, let me tell you an example. I have seen this lesson plans of some teachers, and they have written in their lesson plans that students will be able to learn grammar in my class today. So learning grammar is not very easy to learn within 40 minutes of your period. So learning grammar is a whole life thing that you're going to spend, for which you're going to spend a longer time to learn actually. So grammar is a very big thing you can't learn within the same class. So actually grammar is your aim of teaching, and grammar is aim of learning the kids. At the same time, when you're talking about objectives are actually the short term, and these are actually your SLOs which are going to achieve within the class within the 40 minutes on that day. So this is why always whenever you're going to write down your SLOs, write down your SLOs which you can achieve within the classroom. So for this we say that your SLOs should be smart. So smart like you people, smart like loads of smart people. So not really like that, but I'm saying I'm talking about how to make the SLOs smart. So smart SLOs means S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for realistic, and T for time bound. So it means that all the SLOs which are deciding for the classroom, they should be specific. Specific means they should be taken from the topic or the lesson you're going to teach today, or they should be taken from that unit which you're going to teach or you're going to start today. So this is how you're going to make your SLO specific. Number two, it's measurable. Measurable means your SLOs should be achievable within the same 40 minutes of the time. And you can measure them. Measure means you can easily measure how much students have learned in that period, how much is left to learn for the next day. For example, if you're going to teach the students definition and the examples of the nouns or pronouns or any parts of speech, your main SLO is that the students will be able to tell the definition of nouns. Second SLO is students will be able to tell 5 examples of nouns. For this, you're going to see that is it measurable or not. So how would you see that this is measurable? You would ask the definition to the students at the end of the lesson at assessment stage. That tell the definition of the nouns. So if the students can tell definition of the nouns, it means that this objective you have achieved. So if you say to the students, okay, tell me 5 examples of the noun, and this is where if the students can't tell the 5 examples, they just tell about 1 example or 2 examples, or maybe the students are unable to tell the example. So it means that you have achieved your 1 objective and 1 objective is left. So at the same time, you can also see that how effective definition or how correct definition the students have told you. So if you feel that the students have told 100% correct definition, and you feel that the students have told all the correct 5 examples of the nouns, it means your objective of that day are achieved. So it means that your objectives should be measurable. And the third thing is the achievable, which we have discussed so far when we were taking class examples. Achievable means you should be able to achieve your objectives within the same class. For example, we took the example of the grammar, and then we took the specific example of the nouns and definition and the examples. If you say that the students will be able to achieve learn grammar in the class today, so it means that learning grammar is a long-term objective which can't be achieved within the same 40 minutes you are going to spend today in the classroom. So it means that learning grammar is a long-term objective which is not actually achievable. But if you say that the students will be able to tell definition of the nouns, and they will be able to tell 5 examples of the noun, so this is achievable within the same class. So your objectives should be achievable also. Our next thing is realistic. Realistic means these things, number 1, should be related to your topic. Number 2, they should be related to the real life actions. They should have somehow a role in your real life. And these objectives should be achievable, should be realistic, should be measurable, should be specific. If these objectives are not specific, if these objectives are not measurable, if these objectives are not achievable, it means that these objectives are not realistic. Realistic are those things which can be achieved within the same class. So it means you're going to write down your objectives in such a way that they are achievable within the same class. Our next thing is T, and T is time bound. So time bound is really important because most of the teachers, they normally talk about the time management is actually a big problem in the classroom. I have heard loads of teachers saying that when we do activities in the classroom, loads of time is spent up. It means that they don't really plan their time for that stage of the lesson. So the last thing in the SMART is T, and that is time bound. So time bound means your objectives should be achievable within the 40 minutes period you're going to spend today in the classroom. So if your SLOs can't be achieved within 40 minutes, it means that you would have to divide that SLO within 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days. So deciding the time for your lesson plan or for your objectives or making it time bound, the purpose is that you should be able to decide beforehand that how much time you're going to spend on your this SLO today and how much time you will spend tomorrow. And at the same time, you are going to divide this SLO in the different stages of the lesson plan, and we have discussed the different stages of lesson plan in the video we have done before. So when you divide your lesson plan into different stages, it means that you have divided your SLO into the different stages also. So at each stage, you're going to decide how much time you're going to spend on this part of the SLO. For example, if you're going to do the lead-in, how much time you're going to spend on lead-in, then you're going to work on the activities. Either these are individual activities or these are group activities. So you are definitely going to decide how much time you're going to spend of individual activity and then group activity. And at the same time, it's very important to decide that how much time you're going to spend on the assessment stage. So these things we are going to discuss next. So when you're deciding your SLOs should be number 1, specific, number 2, measurable, number 3, achievable, number 4, realistic, and number 5, time bound. So we just saw that how we can make the SLOs smart. People say that only the people who are smart, they can make the smart SLOs, and the people who make the smart SLOs, they say no. The people who make smart SLOs, actually they are the smart people and they are the smart teachers. So there's no doubt about it that the teachers who are making the SLO smart, they are really smart also. After writing down your SLO smart, the next very important thing to add in your lesson plan is to add some very interesting warmer, because the warmers make the students active in the classroom. What happens is that usually if you're starting the day, let's say you're starting your first period in the school. So students are usually feeling still sleepy because it's the morning time. Some students are not very active. So the warmers actually warm up the kids. So always decide such warmers for the classroom which actually they wake up the students. For example, mostly the warmers which I do in the classroom are like these are clapping warmers, these are like running warmers, these are like jumping warmers, and at the same time these are like engaging the students over some kind of drawing over the board or some kind of concept which is related to my topic over the board. So by adding some activity for the warmers, the students get engaged in the classroom, they become active, their brain becomes active for taking part in the classroom. So to make the students ready, you can say it's very important to decide the warmer in the start of the class. So your second important thing is to decide your warmers. After the warmers, this is the stage you have to introduce your topic to the students. So at the introduction stage, again, if you can decide some activity, and by activity, if you would introduce your topic to the students would very easily understand what you're going to teach today. And these introductory activities which take us or which take the students towards the main topic or towards the main idea of teaching is called the lead-ins. So at the lead-in introduction, you should decide very interesting activities again. So decide a very interesting activity for the students at the lead-in stage. And the lead-ins, and if you can keep the lead-ins and warmers connected to your topic or related to your topic, then it's going to be more beneficial. And especially the lead-ins should always be related to the topic. I have seen that most of the time the teachers are teaching in the classroom, they are actually at a lead-in stage, but actually they don't effectively connect their lead-in to the topic. So they usually do the activity for the lead-in purpose, but that only becomes the warmer because that activity has no connection with the topic. So at lead-in stage, whichever activity you do, that activity, its ultimate purpose should be to introduce your topic, because lead-in means this leads the students towards your topic. So if its activity is not leading the students towards your topic, so this is not actually the lead-in. So make sure in your lesson plan you plan your lead-in in a proper way. After warmer lead-in, this is the stage for you to give your input to the students. And at this stage, the teachers usually use two strategies. Number one, the first strategy is that they devise some tasks for the students. They don't really directly teach the students, and this is what I like so much also, and this is what I have seen is really effective in the classroom, because by this strategy the students are fully and 100% involved in the classroom. So you can see that the teachers usually who feel that we have a classroom management problem, there are discipline problems in the classroom also, it's really tough to grab the attention of the students. So if you have these problems, then follow this step which I'm going to share with you. So what happens in this strategy is that the teachers always plan their tasks, and these tasks could be like the worksheets. These worksheets could be based on multiple choice questions. Maybe these are crosswords or any activity you can devise in the task. And the purpose is that the students are going to work in the groups. So this could be a group activity. So in the group activity, the students are going to work on one task, and they are going to work out the answers by themselves. For example, if this is a mathematics question, you would give the question to the students, and the students would sit together and they would try to work out the answers by themselves. So what happens is that definitely you didn't teach the students, you haven't given any concept to the students, so students' brain would be totally involved. They would be so much busy in working out the answers. And give this task to the students as a challenge. Say them that this is a challenge for you. Let's see which group can do it first and do it correctly also. So don't worry about it if the students can't do it correctly. So if you feel that all the students are not doing it in a correct way or they have a trouble, then use the board and guide the concept to the students. Otherwise, you would divide the students in groups, give the task to them, say them to work together in the groups. Say them to decide one group leader also. In each group, there should be one or two students who are really fast learners. So they can help the other group members also. So with their collaboration, with their help, it's going to be very easy for them to work out the answers. So what you're going to do is that you're going to divide the students into groups. Number 2, you will give a task to the students, which could be multiple choice or any kind of worksheet. Number 3, you would say to the students to work on this together. Number 4, if the students can't understand or if they have a trouble somewhere, say them to raise their hand. So the students will raise their hand, you would go to the group and you would guide them over there, how to do that question or how to find out the answer or what could be a possible answer for that question. So in this strategy, there is a maximum discussion taking place in the classroom among the students. Number 2, students are so much engaged in their work. Number 3, there is less teacher talk time and there is more students talk time. And number 4, the students are working independently, and this is going to raise more confidence in the students. And this is what makes the teaching really interesting, really busy, really it gives a really nice learning experiences to the students. It gives a very good chance to the students to socialize with each other, and because keep on changing the groups, because the students, you can say the students get a chance to have interaction with all the other students. Some teachers go for this strategy, and I have seen that so far as I have observed the classes, I have observed about more than 100 teachers in their classes, and those who are doing, you can say, those who are following this strategy, I have seen that their teaching is really happening in an effective way. And after the class or after the period, when I asked the students, how was the teaching, how did you like that or no, 90 to 95% students say that we love that strategy of the teacher. So hopefully you're going to find it comfortable and easy for you also, because the main challenge for the teachers is to engage the students and to have the maximum, you can say, discipline in the classroom. So this is actually the task-based teaching here. So our second strategy is that which I have observed in some of the classes here, that most of the teachers, they believe that they should teach first to the students should listen to them, and they spend about 10 to 15 minutes of delivering the concept or teaching the students, and the students are listening to the teachers, and wherever students feel any confusion or they feel any problem, the students raise their hand and they ask questions to the teachers also, and the teachers, they do give the answers to the students. But in this, teachers' talk time is more and students' talk time is less. Why? Because teacher is there standing in front of the students, teacher is speaking, and the students are just sitting as the listeners. So overall purpose of the teacher is to teach the students in the whole group. So, and the second purpose is that the students should be listening to the teacher. But in this strategy, which I have felt, is that there are loads of chances for bad discipline, and because teacher is continuously talking, so the students will definitely lose their interest. And sometimes what happens is that loads of distractions keep on happening there in the classroom, so the students keep on getting involved with the distractions. And the distractions could be there could be any distraction. For example, somebody comes from outside, or some student speaks, or they start feeling tired, or they start feeling sleepy, and they start yawning in the classroom also, which actually makes them so much lazy. So this was the second strategy. So if you ask me, I'm not really satisfied with the second strategy, because only the teacher is speaking, more teacher talk time and less students talk time, and there's the less students engagement. When you're doing activities in the classroom, we do two kinds of activities basically at the practice stage. The first stage is of the teaching stage, and at the teaching stage, what teachers do is that they try to clarify the concept of the students about what they're teaching, about the SLOs they are going to teach today. And when we come to the practice stage, at the practice stage, the teachers give time to the students to practice over the questions. For example, if you worked on the first strategy, that was giving a task to the students and they are going to work on it. So that was actually the group activity. So after doing the group activity, it's very important to go for the individual activity. So in the classroom, we do two kinds of activities. Number one is the group activity. Number two, individual activities. The purpose of group activities are, we have like discussed before, that we want the students to socialize with each other. We want them to interact maximum with each other. We want to raise the maximum discussion in the classroom. We want to engage the students fully with each other. We want to have the good discipline in the classroom. We want the students to work independently by themselves, by depending on one another. And and making them feel that they can work by themselves also. So it means that we did group work to raise the confidence in the students. But more than that, more than group activity, the individual activities are also very important. The individual activities are actually going to set the students' belief in themselves that yes, this is something we can do. For example, once they have done work in the groups, give them a chance to work alone on that SLO or on the questions that you have given so far. So if the students, loads of students in the classroom, they become so much good after the individual activities. The reason is that they work independently, they work alone, and when they work independently and alone, they really feel that yes, I have learned something today. I can do something alone. So this I brings a confidence in them. This individual activity builds so much belief in them. So just by this belief, loads of students who are actually the slow learners, the students who don't pay much attention in the classroom, the students mostly the teachers complain about, they become so much good. And I usually say to teachers that if your students are not becoming good, maybe the reason is that they don't have a habit of working in groups. Maybe they don't have a habit of working alone. Maybe they are not given the chance to work alone in the classroom. Again, working alone means you're giving a chance to the students to increase their belief on themselves. You're giving a chance to the students to make themselves confident by themselves. So it means that if you set some individual activities, you're making them independent learners. And becoming independent learners is going to play so much big roles in their lives. So overall purpose of teaching or the purpose of the SLOs you have decided or the teaching you're doing is to make the students independent learners, because you want them to be a very confident person in the society. You want them to be the very good citizen in the society also. You want them to be the very successful person in his life. So for this purpose, you should give them a chance to work alone. So those of students who want to become good, those of students who really wish to learn good, they don't get a chance to work alone. So always set some activities which are actually the individual activities. So by individual activities, not only the students are going to set their belief, it's not only going to increase the confidence of the students, it's also going to make your teaching easy for you also. Because your ultimate goal is to make the students learn what you want them to learn. You also want to make sure that what you have taught to the students, they have really understood, they have really learned and know. So by individual activities, when the students are working individually, go personally to the students, see at their work, see at their questions. If you see that the students are really working correct, they're doing their questions correctly, and there's no any issue, it means that your teaching has really happened successfully today. So by individual activity, you can also find out in the classroom that individual student who still really didn't understand the concept, who still really didn't learn anything in the classroom. So you can separate that student, guide that student, or you can sit that student with those students who have really understood the concept. So this individual activity is really going to help you for your effective teaching, for your successful teaching also, and it's really going to set a very interesting learning experience for the students. Where you want to have a very interesting teaching experience in the classroom, the students are also expecting to have the really interesting learning experiences for them. So to make it interesting for both of you, for students and for the teachers, it's very important to set your group activities as well as the individual activities. Our next very important component for lesson plan is the assessment stage. So assessments are really important for the classroom because by assessment you are going to decide or you're going to find out how much teaching has happened successfully in the classroom, how much learning has successfully happened in the classroom. Assessments are actually of the two types. It doesn't mean that we have added assessment here at this stage, so you only are going to take assessment as the second last step. Assessments are of two types. Number one, that is the formative assessment, and one is the summative assessment. So formative assessment happens throughout the lesson. So the formative assessment you're going to do in this way, that throughout the class or throughout your 40 minutes, you're asking the question to the students to see that they are really understanding what you're teaching to them or no. Whatever the concept you have taught, at whatever the time of the lesson you have taught some concept, you're asking to the students. You keep on asking to the students that they have understood or no. So you plan such questions which are actually to make sure that the students have understood what you're teaching or no. So the formative assessment keeps on happening for the whole class. And formative assessment is actually the assessment for learning. So this AFL keeps on happening for the whole class. Once you've done your activities like the group activities, you have done the individual activities, and now you're moving towards the end of the lesson, you feel that you have taught all the concepts, you feel that the students have understood everything in the classroom, and you have done all the necessary work for as an input session with the students. This is the session for the output. So assessment, because this is going to be the last stage or second last stage of the classroom, because after this stage we are going towards the feedback session also. So at assessment stage, you are going to ask some questions to the students to see that how much is the output. So definitely if the input was effective and the input is good, your output is also going to be really effective also. So by these questions, you are going to ask the students that they have understood the question, understood what you have taught, but these questions are not going to be so much general. So don't just say that, alright students, have you understood? Definitely all the students are going to say you, yes sir, or yes teacher, we have understood. And never be satisfied with this answer, because the question was so much general and the answer is so much general. So this is where we need to make the concrete questions. We need to make the very specific questions. For example, our SLO was defining the noun and taking examples. So if you have taught the definition to the students, so you would say, alright, define nouns. So the students would definitely raise their hand. So you would take answers from the different students. So after taking answers from different students, you can easily decide that the students have understood this definition or not. So if they're telling you the correct answers, it means the output is effective and your input was definitely effective also. When you're asking the questions, you don't really have to get answers only from those students who are really fast learners, or who are good, or who always take part in the answer question sessions. Encourage the students who don't mostly raise their hands or who don't give you answers mostly. If you can get answers correctly, or if they can define your definitions, or if they can tell the definitions to you proper, it means that your input session was really successful. So what I want to say is that, so you're going to ask questions from the students who are slow learners also, you're going to get answers from the fast learners also. So this means that you're going to give equal chance to the students to give answers, and this is the most effective way of doing the assessment in the classroom. One thing more for effective assessment is that you should make effective questions. Effective questions means that your questions are not so much general, your questions are very specific, your questions are related to your topic. Number 2, your questions are related to the understanding level of the students. Number 3, your questions are related to your SLOs and up to the level of SLOs you have delivered in the classroom. Another very important thing for effective question is to have the very simple vocabulary, simple words, simple sentences for asking the questions to the students. Because most of the time the students, there are loads of students in the classroom whose listening is not very effective, and loads of students, they don't have very good vocabulary. Loads of students, they don't understand the longer sentences, structures. So it's very important that when you ask questions in the classroom, you should ask questions in the very simple way, with a very simple statements, with a very simple vocabulary. So the next very important component of the lesson plan is your feedback. So at feedback stage, you are going to give your feedback to the students for all the performance the students show in the classroom. Because most of the students, they really work hard in the classroom, and we, the teachers, sometimes ignore that. So for the hard work the students have done in the classroom, for the discussion, for everything they did, they cooperated with you, they kept very good discipline in the classroom, they gave you very good output, and they participated, they followed your instructions, they did whatever you wanted them to do. So this is the time to appreciate the students for whatever they have done in the classroom. So this is the time time to give the feedback to the students for overall effort they have done in the classroom, so that their belief and confidence becomes more stronger, and so that they should feel that our teacher really loved our effort, and by this thing the students are definitely going to work more harder next time. And at the same time, this is very important to get the feedback from the students for yourself, for your teaching, because the activities you have done, find out those activities the students liked or no. At the same time, ask the students what thing they have understood, what they did not understand. Ask to the students that what they liked the best in the classroom. Ask to your students that the topic was easy for them or not. If the students are going to say that teacher topic was really tough and we still didn't understand proper, so it means that you have to work more on this topic, maybe in the next period or maybe the next day. So this is very important to go for the two-way feedback. Give your feedback to the students and take the feedback from the students also to see that how well your teaching has happened here. Whenever you finish your classroom, don't forget to give out homework to the students, and for the homework give some sort of activity, like you can give them a worksheet, and those worksheets should be based upon the kind of work you have done in the classroom. Mostly I have seen that when the teachers are giving the homework to the students, that homework is really tough for the students to do at home. So what happens is that the students in home are actually not doing the homework by themselves. They are taking help from the parents, they are getting it done by the teachers who are teaching them in their homes or maybe in the academies also. So homework, actually the purpose of the homework is to make the students work by themselves on it, so that they should think about it, and their thinking is involved in that. If you're going to give a homework which is really challenging for the students and which is more challenging than the kind of work they have done in the classroom, then definitely the students would not work on it individually, independently. They would get it done by the teachers, they would get it done by the home tutors, they would get it done by the parents, so they would never do it by themselves. So always keep a balance in the challenge. The amount of challenge you added in the classroom, keep the same amount of challenge in the homework also, because this thing is really going to be, you can say, a real feedback, or this is really going to be a real outcome or output from the students which you're going to see tomorrow. So always give an effective homework to the kids. So friends, these were the few important components of the lesson plan. But there are two more very important things which you shouldn't ignore in the lesson when you're teaching the classroom. The very first thing is the reflection. So always the reflecting teachers always reflect upon their teaching all the time they're in the classroom. The purpose of the reflection is to keep on looking at your teaching, keep on looking at your teaching method, your strategies, your teaching style, keep on looking at the way you are delivering your content. Keep on looking at the way the students are participating in your activities, because when you will look on these things, when you will reflect on these things, you will be able to find out which thing is working better and which thing is not going well. So by reflection, you can easily find out those areas which went well in the classroom. So areas of improvement means these are those areas which you still have to work on. So it means that you have to go back to your home, you will work more on that content, on that SLO, or on those areas which were left, and come back tomorrow and clear the concept with the students about that, or work on that again. So reflection is very important. So for the whole lesson, keep on looking at your teaching and keep on finding out those areas which really happened very good in the classroom and those areas which didn't go well. The next very important thing for your effective lesson plan is to plan your effective instructions. Instructional planning is really important, because when you're teaching to the students, you have to plan your language, you have to plan your words, you have to plan your sentences, because you want these instructions to be totally understood by the students. Because if students are not understanding what you are saying, or the students are not understanding what you're teaching to them, so definitely it's not going to be fruitful in the classroom. So when you're planning your lesson plan all the instructions. And for the instructions, we use one term that is called KISS. So KISS means key instructions, short and simple. So by keeping instructions short and simple, it's going to be really easy for you to deliver these instructions in the classroom And it's going to be easy for the students to understand those instructions also in the classroom. The instruction means, most of the teachers, they get confused what instructions are. Instructions in the classroom means all the sentences you're speaking in the classroom, all the words you're speaking in the classroom, all the discussions you're making in the classroom, even your body language is actually the instruction for the people. So when you're planning your instructions, you should refine your sentences, you should define your vocabulary. If you feel that your vocabulary is tough, if you feel that your sentences are tough, or if you feel that your sentences are very long, then make them short, add some simple vocabulary, and make your instructions very easy for the kids. Because kids are very small, never expect that the students are going to understand your longer instructions. Never expect that the students are going to understand your tough vocabulary like the adults can do. Even the adults can understand the longer sentences if you're teaching to them or you're training to them. So it's very important that when you're teaching to the students, your instructions are really simple and short for the kids, because you want them to understand, you want them to learn what you want them to learn. So you want to achieve your objectives, you want to achieve your SLOs. So to achieve it, do whatever you can do. Reflection is important. Your instructions planning is very important. And the last but not least is your rehearsal. So whenever you plan your lessons, and if you want your lesson to be delivered in a really effective and interesting way, then do rehearsal in your home. Because rehearsal is going to tell you which areas are going to be tough for the students. Rehearsal is going to tell you that this part of the lesson plan is going to be really difficult for the students. Your rehearsal is going to tell that which part you have to refine, which part you have to again replan that. So whenever you make your lesson plans, make sure you put rehearsal in first and then go and deliver it in the classroom. So this was the lesson plan, dear friends. So hopefully you have understood all these components. So let's just revise these components. The most important thing for the lesson was to write down the effective SLOs, and for this we discussed that our SLOs should be smart. And number 2, we talked about warmer, and for the warmer we said that we want to make the students active in the classroom. So for the warmer, decide some activity. And the third very important component of the lesson plan was the lead-in. And the lead-in was such an activity which leads the students towards the topic or the SLO you are going to teach. So lead-in actually introduces the topic to the students. Our next thing, here we decided the 2 strategies. One strategy was that setting up a task for the kids, that the students are going to work on that, and the students are going to discuss that, and the teacher is going to work as a facilitator or as a helper to the students to guide them or to help them. And here we said the student talk time is more, discussion time is more, and teacher's talk time is less. Our next strategy was that the teacher speaks more. This is the presentation style. So teacher is speaking and the students are listening, and this is how the communication is happening in the classroom. And next very important component that we discussed was what kind of activities we have to include in the classroom. So we said group activities and individual activities. The group activities had its own purpose and the individual activities had its own purpose. So you're going to include 2 kinds of activities. Then we talked about very important component, that was the assessment. And for the assessment we said take an assessment from all the students, make sure that you're taking answers from all the kids. And all the students, maximum students are giving answers to you so that you can make sure that how much effective learning has happened in the classroom and how much effective teaching has taken place in the classroom. And the next very important component that we discussed was that of feedback. And the feedback stage, we said that go for the 2-way feedback, give your feedback to the students and take the feedback from the students. And for the feedback, it's very important that you should give a constructive feedback to the students. Never give a discouraging feedback to the students. Always, first of all, talk about the positive aspects, talk about the good things the students did, and then talk about the areas of improvement of the students, and that is a sandwiched feedback. So always give your sandwiched feedback to the students so that the students can find out which things really went well for them and which areas they have to improve in the classroom. And then we discussed about planning instructions, reflection, and your rehearsal. So friends, that was all about